Hello everybody, this is Uhfgood, and let's get my little gadget up here, which I should have done earlier, but that's the way it always goes, because I always forget. Oops, what did I do there? Let's close that. Close. Alrighty, start that. Okay, so today I am sort of slacking off. Not really exactly slacking off, but just because I'm a perfectionist, that's why I have to keep on going and readjusting things. Okay, let's take this off. I don't need that unless I am listening to some audio or, you know, watching a video that requires audio. Okay, so today I've just decided to kind of cheat a little bit by before I can use Godot, and I found out that it is called Godot. Apparently that's how the creators call it. That's what I called it originally instead of Godot. Most people call it Godot, I guess, because it sounds artsy or something. But in any case, I need to kind of have, see, there's two deals. There's this, you know, your first game, which is kind of getting started in 2D in Godot. And then in the 3D section here of the documents, is it there? Where is it? Oh yeah, FPS tutorial. They recommend, if you're new to Godot, that you do your, you know, your first game. It says this tutorial can be completed by beginners. Highly advised to complete your first game. If you're new to Godot and or game development before going through this tutorial series. So I'm not new to game development, and even though I never actually really worked in 3D primarily, I know enough that I could probably make it through that FPS tutorial. So when I said I am going to make this game from scratch, and that I'm going to show you everything I'm going through to get to learn the game, that includes stuff like this. So I'm going to go through this tutorial on screen. I guess some people can kind of learn by watching. I mean, it would be recommended that you actually go through this. It's actually on Godot engine.org, and then you don't actually have to go to docs. You can, but you don't have to actually go to docs.godotengine.org. You can just go to godotengine.org, and then you click on Learn, which is in the upper right corner, and then it'll take you to the docs. So, and then this is under let's see, where's the deal here? This is under step by step. So step by step actually takes you through the editor and describes Godot a little bit, and then it goes into this game tutorial. So I decided I'm just gonna go through this tutorial, and the reason I'm saying I'm kind of cheating is because I'm not actually doing anything that directly affects the creation of the game, but it's something that I need to do, and it's something I'm just gonna log me, you know, learning various things. This includes the drawing, like, you know, going through the drawing steps and all that stuff. So I have to go through some of this stuff. It might be several months before Armory actually gets that nav mesh thing fixed. And then the other thing I think it'd be really cool, which I think they have a plan for, is actually adding grease pencil objects into Armory. So that'd be really good, because that means I don't have to render out separate images. I can just simply animate my stuff in Grease Pencil in Blender, and then I can run it in Armory. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and go through this tutorial, and I'm not going through a video tutorial, partly because now these guys, the Godot guys themselves, probably wouldn't care if you put their tutorial in a video, right? Because they want you to learn it, and it's open source and all this stuff. An individual might be concerned, and that's why I actually write to them and ask for permission to actually show their tutorials in my videos, because at some point I'm probably going to find a way of monetizing my YouTube channel, and so I want to be sure everybody's cool with, and I'm not usually trying to pass off somebody else's tutorial as my own, to get viewers or whatever. But since this is off the Godot site itself, and since this is on a web page, I can go through this, and shouldn't be too much of a problem, because now you're watching me go through it. You're not really, Anyways, so we're gonna see. I'm gonna go through this. In fact, I'll go through the whole thing on video, so it might be several days worth of actual videos showing me going through this. So, what do we got here? Overview. Tutorial will guide you through making your first Godot project. You'll learn how the Godot editor works, how to structure a project, and how to build a 2D game. Introduction to the Godot engine. It assumes you have some programming experience already. If you're new to programming entirely, you should start here, scripting. And actually, I could do that, but I'm pretty well versed in programming. Although I've never really done any Python programming. GD script. The main thing that I noticed about Python is lack of parentheses. That's about it. So I've done Lua, and I've done a few things. I've also did C# and C++ and C, and there's a lot of different deals that I've did a little bit in a lot of different deals, so I understand scripting a scene. Set as GUI scene consisting of button label. Adding a script. Yeah, but see, the thing is will this actually do anything? I mean, it would do something if you had everything set up to do it, right? Anyways, I'm just going to go through this, and we will see how it works. Okay, this game is called Dodge Creeps. Your character must move and avoid the enemies for as long as possible. Here's a preview of the final result. Okay, so that's a pretty simple game. You're going to have a... Right. Why 2D? 3D games are much more complex than 2D ones. You should stick to 2D until you have a good understanding of the game development process, which I do. But since I am actually new to Godot itself, I'm going to go through this little 2D deal. Launch Godot, create a new project, then download Dodge assets, the images and sounds you'll be using to make the game. Unzip these files to your project folder. For this tutorial, we'll assume you're familiar with the editor. If you haven't read scenes and nodes, do so now for your explanation of setting up a project using the project editor. Okay, so here is the thing about that. Scenes and nodes, huh? Alright. Nodes. I've actually read through this. What scenes are. Creating a new project. Okay, we'll go through, we'll breeze through that. Considering that I didn't have to install Godot, that means I have to actually go to the folder on my hard drive. So, why isn't, oh, because it's going so slow because I got everything running here. Alrighty. I am waiting. Video. Waiting. Video. It's kind of annoying because I got a pretty decent computer. I mean, I got two 1070 GTX 1070s, and they're not in SLI mode, partly because I use Blender, and I might should put them in SLI mode, though, mostly because I haven't rendered a lot with Blender yet, and I've been using Eevee instead of cycles anyways. So I might should do that, but this shouldn't be that slow. It's a Ryzen 2700. The only caveat is that I am using a I'm using Windows 7, and even that's not bad. It's just an older version of Windows. So I mean, it shouldn't be that slow, but apparently it is. Apparently it takes a lot to capture video from your desktop from two. It's actually captured from one desktop, but using two desktops and running all these different programs. But I'm not even running Blender right now. I'm only running a browser window, IRC, Discord, and then OBS itself. So I don't know why it's so slow. Okay, so shoot, we're almost at the end of this video. That's what I was saying, is it's kind of a cheat because it's not really a cheat because I still have to go through it, you know. I just have to do it off video, but it's kind of a cheat because I'm using it for my video for today, maybe for a couple of days. But at least there's some content there, and you can kind of see how to go about doing stuff. In fact, you could probably, even though I'm not trying to teach you a tutorial or trying to teach you how to do it, you can probably figure out how to do it by watching me. So that at least there's something good out of that. So let's go to dev stuff. Let's go to Godot, and let's go ahead and I guess let's wait to start her up in the next video. So if you're interested, watch for a few days. Watch me go through this tutorial. I'll go through the FPS tutorial, and then we'll see about me building a little test demo, because really what I'm interested in is setting up a scene, having a 3D object, being able to click anywhere on the screen, and have the pardon me, and have the object move to my mouse position, essentially what the mouse position is in the world, in the scene. And then we'll go into objects, then we'll go on to, and we'll just sort of build it up from that. And eventually I should be able to get a little simple like room running where I get to click on objects and I interact with it. And then I have to work on my user interface and all that good stuff. But we'll start with this and we'll see what happens. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.